Okay, so you all see that I make sock puppets with pretty much just socks. So the sock that I usually use is just a plain, kind of a stretchy sock, but you can use any sock. So a sock this big or a sock super long, any of them will do. And these are the guidelines that I do. Just so you know, you've seen the kind of socks that we make, the kind of puppets that we make, very simple like this, but you can make puppets out of socks that look like this. He is also a sock. So this is my grandpa sock, but he's still a sock. I just put some clothes on him, right? And we can make a sock of a little boy sock. This is also a sock. And just to show you what socks can do, this is also a sock. And he's a little dog. Okay, so these are all socks. And this is just sewing and stuffing, and I don't use very much. So there's a lot of things you can make with socks. So let's just do a sock puppet, and I'm going to just show you how I make mine, and there's a lot of variation. I generally take a sock, and in my Spanish class, sometimes we use socks or puppets, whatever, just to talk, because we want our students talking. So, you know, you can make anything talk. You could even make a clothespin talk by just adding some eyes to him, right? And he could have a friend, and that could be another clothespin talking to him, right? So this is already a conversation going on that you can do at home by just adding eyeballs. So let's get going with our sock puppet. We have one sock. I have a glue gun, which you may not have, but it doesn't matter because you don't really need that much at this point. What I get is a piece of cardboard, and that's from like Amazon boxes. I cut and I make it so that it is the size of my hand. So it doesn't have to be perfect. None of my socks are perfect. So the size of my hand, that's going to be the mouthpiece because your hand is the mouth, right? So you're going to fold that, and you may have to like kind of play with it a little bit, and that is your mouthpiece right there. See that? So mouthpiece, sock. That's half the game. We turn the sock inside out. Inside out, you don't really tell that much. And see this heel? The heel is where the bottom of the mouth is going to go. So I'm going to put it, let's just put it back on. Here we go. So let's just see, this was the heel. This is the top of the foot. And that is where your mouth is going to go, but it's going to go inside. So I take it and I have this little pocket, and that's where I'm going to put my mouth. See the mouth? It's in the pocket. And then I turn it inside out. So you can kind of put it in there any other way, but hey, I'm almost done. But he's not almost done, right? Because we want a little bit more for our puppet. So I cut out a piece of black felt, the same size as the mouthpiece. And I could place him in there like that. And then I would cut around here, and that would be his mouth. I also have to think about his eyes. So what can you use for eyes? Well, I have a lot of things to use for eyes. So one of them would be ping pong balls. So you could take ping pong balls and just use them as big googly eyes, like this. Or you could take them and cut them in half and then place them like this. Or if you don't have googly eyes or tennis balls, you can take an egg carton, paint it or maybe put magic marker on it, and then that could be your eyes. So eyes can be from so many things, including pom-poms, or maybe even buttons. I mean, this button even looks like an eye. And they don't have to match because that makes them funny. Of course, you can always have just some googly eyes that you could get from Michael's or order them or whatever. They're very inexpensive. You can get a bunch for $1. Once we attach the eyes, and I'm going to attach just big tennis balls. Let's make him look funny. So I'm going to put a little bit of hot glue. And then I'm going to attach him. So we have the beginnings of a real funny guy, but he's a little flat for me. And I like my puppets a little puffy, like all of your puppets that you used in music class. So what I do is I add stuffing. If you don't have stuffing, not everybody does. So this is my stuffing, like this. And I put them inside here. But I'm going to say if you don't have stuffing, you could just take another sock, his pair, or maybe even half, and put him inside. And now he's out there, right? You can see him. Well, you look really funny. Yeah, you look funny too. So now we need the pupils, because the pupils really give the puppet a lot of character. So you can use, you can make the pupils with a piece of black felt or any color felt, or even paint or magic marker. And if you want to put these together, which I do, I'm going to put a little bit of glue there and just put them together. Now, if you're using a hot glue gun, there are the smaller ones. They don't have so much heat, so you have less chance of getting burnt. But if you're going to do it, ask an adult to come and supervise that. So here he is. I would hold him together a little bit. He's already looking pretty good, right? And then, of course, we want hair. How we do hair is, well, anyway. I can cut up felt pieces like this and plop them on his head. I can use yarn, which is what we used on a lot of the puppets in music class. And I would just cut up the yarn and plop it on his head. Usually I make a ball. I even have weird yarn like this. And that makes the puppet look like it has curly hair. And I just put that on like that. So there are a lot of things that you can use for hair, including hair. So sometimes I get little wigs and I put them on the puppets. So that's the basics for making a puppet. You can also add a tongue, you can add a hat, and some of my puppets, like this one, she wears glasses. You can add glasses to your puppet. So there are a lot of things that you can do with decorating your puppet. Some puppets are from storybooks. So this one was from a book called Creepy Carrots. And all he is orange, okay? He is a creepy carrot. This is just the yarn. And these are different types of eyes. But look what happens when you put eyebrows on the eyes. It changes everything. So now you can add a little personality. Sometimes I even dress them up. So last, I wanted to talk to you a little bit about how to use them and what I do with puppets. So puppets are, these are talking about sock puppets, but I have all types of puppets that we use. And I'm going to just swing the camera around a little bit so that you can see. It looks like a dollhouse, but can you see that? Okay, that is Frida Kahlo's house. So she was a famous artist, and sometimes what I do is, this is, looks like a dollhouse, but it really is of a person's life. I made this little puppet, and so that is a little skeleton puppet, and she's over the bed. And then when I added the characters, sometimes puppets can be just cutouts. So this is a cutout from the book that I can use to tell a story. So you can tell stories with puppetry, with just cutouts, and not making a marionette or not making a sock puppet. There are tiny puppets and big puppets, carved puppets. This is, these are carved. These are from, this is just clay, but the rest of it is pretty much just like your glove puppet, okay? So there are all sorts of puppets, and I started by showing you a clothespin, but clothespins can lead to other things. So this is a clothespin, but he also is a lion. So a clothespin, a lion. And it starts with the same idea of a clothespin. So there you have it. There are so many things. One of my favorite things to do is just take googly eyes and put them on objects and make them talk. And then you're bringing life to whatever you want. So that is what I wanted to share, including my companion, who is zooming. And Zoomy sometimes fills in for me when I don't want to teach class. Right, Zoomy? That's right. And Zoomy speaks Spanish too. That's right. Hola, hola. Okay, I hope you enjoyed it all.
That's wonderful, amazing stuff. Can you tell us just a little bit more, tell the fourth graders about how you use the puppets and how you find them beneficial with students in your Spanish class, and how could we relate that to singing in music class?
Okay, so in Spanish class, I want students to speak out. The most important part about a language is talking. So if students are, maybe they have to have a conversation between two people. So right now I can have a conversation between these two people. One has teeth. By the way, we make these teeth as well. And if a student is speaking very low, I can say, you know, open your mouth wider, just like you do in music. You have to open your mouth so that I can understand everything you're saying. So, hola, hola, hola. And it also gives meaning because you get to express yourself. It's not, hola, ¿cómo estás? Hola, ¿cómo estás? Sounds boring. But, hola, hola, ¿cómo estás? Muy bien. No, muy mal. Ah. So you can express yourself. It's much more fun in class. It's much more fun for you and even for the teachers.